Here's a little cardboard ramp. Now this has a screen bottom board with a solid wood insert in the bottom. And I was using that as a ramp, but I noticed a lot of the bees were going underneath the hive. You see on the side of the hive how it's up on a couple of braces going laterally? Well, a lot of them were flying underneath there because it's just open screen at the bottom with bottom board slid out. So I slid the bottom board back in and just jerry-rigged this plastic box as the ramp. Hopefully it'll do the trick. Yeah, so I'm trying to discern if there's any noticeable difference from today. I'm not sure. You know, after I brought the main swarm down, some that were flying landed on a couple of tiny branches. So I went up and brought them down and put them in there. So maybe that was more of an enticement, you know, if a few of the other bees land. But I don't know, that doesn't explain to me the queen. I'm not quite sure about that. I think they'd stay with the queen. Can the queen leave again? I don't know, that's beyond my skill set. And on the ground down there, there were a couple small clumps that had just fallen from the tree naturally, like without my assistance. And so I went and gathered them into a box and brought them here and shook them at the entrance as well. So I'm trying to think maybe for flying patterns today that there seems to be more activity around the front of the hive and less activity up in the air. Probably because I went and snipped the rest of the swarm. Yesterday some had settled, but they'd settled up higher. And so I thought, well, maybe I'll just leave them, but obviously that was something that I could have done differently, maybe. Well, that's something that I did differently today because there were some that stayed behind and reclumped on a branch, and I brought those down right away. So maybe that'll make a difference. I'm not sure. In the super, that's a deep super, and it's a brand new foundation, and it's black plastic foundation, wax coated on wood frames. Not sure if that'll make a difference. I've introduced some black foundation in my other hives, and it's being drawn out quite nicely. And actually, it's really easy to see eggs in the cells with the black foundation. So whether it makes a difference if it's wax foundation or not, maybe it'll make a difference that I've added some honey in here right away. Like I hadn't fed the other hive, I just put them away at night, and then I mixed up some sugar water for them, and I was going to feed them this morning. And I brought the jar out, and there's my dinner guests had left. So maybe there's some natural honey in there right now. Maybe that'll help things along. I hope.